Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Gus Tucker here on Financial Freedom Fridays, and it's good to have you here in May. Can you believe it that it's May already? Man, this year is going by extremely fast. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, or maybe it's just because I don't know. It seems like things are going by faster. I don't know about you, but I've had a terrific week, and to be honest with you, I've been applying the things that we are going to talk about again today. I've been applying them in my own life and seeing some great dividends. And some of those things I'm going to be sharing with you in the upcoming weeks. Because as we talked about the whole thing with financial literacy, the whole thing about financial literacy and getting financially free, the first part of that is earning money. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you, if you doubled your income or 10x your income and you had the same expenses, life would look a lot better? Okay, but you're saying, Gus, how can I do that? How could I double or 10x my income? What in the world could I do to make something like that happen? Well, here's one thing you can't do. We can't stay in what my coach says. His name is Myron Golden. I'm going to be encouraging you to check him out. He says you can't stay in the circle of sameness. Well, what do you mean? Same thoughts, same actions, same circle of people, kind of same everything, and expecting something different to happen. Okay? Think about that now. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? Another thing I want you to think about is in today's economy, 2023, correct? 2023. Okay. The word of God says, which is where I get my inspiration from, says um, there was a parable in Luke with the unjust servant was about to get fired, and he started giving all of his bosses, creditors, people who owed him money, start slicing their bills in half so that when he got fired, he'd have a soft place to land and have some people that were in his that owed him and would make a way for him. And Jesus said something. He said, those in this generation are wiser than basically the people of God. Oh, what exactly does that mean? Let me ask you a question. Since you've been alive, have you seen changes in our economy and how money is made? You know, we used to be an agrarian society where you made money through farming. And then it was industrial through machines. And then it was distribution and media. Then software and technology. Now, social media combined with technology and entertainment is huge. And then how do you collaborate with all these things to make money? Just take this. You're on blackdoctor.org. Blackdoctor.org collaborates with Facebook to share this information with you, along with Instagram, YouTube, and other kind of broadcast media, to work with companies who are willing to pay for that exposure to people. So question, how have you changed or updated or upgraded your skills to be able to take advantage of today's marketplace? Because if we have yesterday's income in today's marketplace, how does that work? Let me ask you guys a question. Have you noticed anything costing more these days? Like when you go grocery shopping? Anything costing any more these days? If you want to sell a house today, yeah, you can make a great margin on your house, but then you got to go find somewhere to live. What's it cost to live somewhere today? Is it going up or down? So, one of the things that I want you to consider, and we're going to talk more about this in the upcoming weeks, is understanding kind of what we're talking about in the be do have scenario, understanding the be part of it. So, if you could load that presentation, Brother Ellis, that's awesome. So, kingdom principle identity and wealth creation, and that's what we're talking about. Wealth creation. I'm creating an economic environment for us to, and this just isn't for Black folks. This will work for anybody. This will work for anybody. So if we go to the next slide, we're going to skip through the first parts. Yeah, we can skip through that. We can skip through that. So what you see is from where you sit. Perspective makes all the difference. All of us have been programmed. Okay. They have computer programs, software programs, television programs. Okay. If you're on social media, you're being programmed by what you see on social media. So where you sit and how you view things makes all the difference. And I encourage you that I encourage you to sit from the most advantageous place there is to sit, and that's at the right hand of God in heaven, and see from there how you should view yourself and other people and your opportunities. Okay, because how you view the world makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. Okay, because you can look at a set of facts. Okay, you can look at a set of facts, and every fact has two sides to it. It's got a positive side, it's got a negative side. The positive side, what do we call that positive side? When you look at a situation or a group of facts and you have a positive outlook on it and you believe things are going to turn out the way that you're believing for, that you're hoping for, what do we call that? Let me get some feedback. What do we call that? What's that called? What's that called? When you have a positive outlook on something's going to happen. For those Bible people, it's in Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1. So what do we call that? We call that faith. We call that faith. Remember in the children of Israel, they sent out the 12 spies and they all looked at the same land. They all had the same past experience coming out of Egypt across the desert up to that point. They had the same experience. They had pretty much a lot of the same programming. Okay? But it makes a difference on how you take that programming in. 10 of the people said, we're not going to go in there because those people are bigger than us. They're stronger than us. We can't take them. So the flip side of the faith side is doubt. Doubt. Not fear, because fear is totally different. We're going to deal with fear in a minute. But doubt. Oh, we can't take those people. We can't. Even though God told them he was going to give them the land. So 10 people came back, said, no, we shouldn't do it. 2 people had faith and said, we should go in and take the land. We can beat these people. God has already given it to us. So what they do? Didn't go in. And all those people from that generation in Israel died without going into the promised land. Folks, that was several million people. Out of that several million people, how many went into the promised land? Do you know? I'm asking for a response. Is anybody out there? Can you help me? How many people went into the promised land? Out of all those millions of people, how many of them went in? I'm gonna give you a couple seconds, couple minutes, give you a little while to give me a response. How many went in out of all those millions? How many people went into that promised land and experienced what God had for them? No, it wasn't all. Sure enough, wasn't all of them. But how many was it? How many was it? Take a guess. How many was it? It's in the Bible how many it was. Okay, I'm gonna go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna tell you, two people went in. Two, Joshua and Caleb. The two spies that went over there and tried to come and tell them that they ought to go in. Now, two is what percentage of a couple million? Very low. Sometimes when you look at a set of facts and you see the positive, it may seem like it's crazy, but it wasn't crazy for Joshua and Caleb. Why? Because God had already told them to go in. So let me ask you, what has God told you to do around creating wealth and income for your family? Ideas you had that you haven't moved on. Because doubt is seeing the negative side. So 10 of those people saw doubt, 2 of them saw faith. Because I'm afraid. No, fear is responding to an actual, viable, probable, real source of pain being inflicted upon you. What do you mean, Gus? Well, if somebody was holding a gun on you and said, I'm going to shoot you if you go into that promised land, okay, that's something to maybe be a little bit afraid of. Or there's a lion about to attack you and you don't have anything in your hand to defend yourself with. Well, that might be something to be a little afraid of. But how many of us really, when it comes to changing our life financially or making some different decisions with ourselves financially, have an actual viable thing that's there to really hurt us, that's going to inflict physical pain on us, that's going to hurt us in some way? No, what we have is when we look at something with doubt, we create anxiety. When we have doubt, we create anxiety. And my coach, Myron Golden, was training on this. And it just really hit me. And I just want to pass some of it on. But when you have faith, it creates anticipation. And anticipation gives you the power to go make things happen because you're anticipating it's going to work out. Did y'all see the Lakers and the Nuggets last night? I went to bed and the Lakers were pretty comfortably ahead. I woke up this morning, punched into ESPN, saw they had lost. Denver came back and beat them. You know why? Because when Denver was down, they didn't have any doubt or fear that they wouldn't come back and beat the other team. They just didn't. But the Lakers, somewhere they faltered in their belief that they could win. So perspective makes all the difference. Next slide. So everyone has a worldview, a way of seeing the world. Seeing your life from God's perspective is the best and only vantage point. And there's a process that we all go through of being, doing, and then having. Okay. So next slide. So identity. I want you to think about this for a minute. God has an identity. There are certain things he says about himself that tell you who he is and how he's going to relate to you and what you can expect from him. What are some of those things that God says he is? And what are some of those things that you say you are that people can count on? Do you operate out of your identity? Who are you? What do you believe about yourself? Are you a person of integrity? Are you a person that's faithful? Are you a person that's loving, that's kind, that's diligent and works hard? That's the foundation of who you are. Okay. And that is what is programming your subconscious mind. You can't live above your programming. So everything we do, the reason we study the Bible, we read books, we get coaching, is to change our programming. Because when new information tries to come into our head, if we've got old programming, it won't allow it to come in, take root, and to grow. We'll just reject it. So when you look at God's identity and what he said about us, he's told us to be fruitful, to multiply, to increase, and to subdue, and take dominion over the world we live in. It says in Psalm 8, he's put this world a little under our feet. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you. So God has laid out a future for every one of us that's unique to us, for us to do great things while we're here on the earth, really great things in service of other people. And those things you are doing that serve other people, that's how you to create your income. You know, so God has built something different into every person. And every person is going to attract a different group of people. That group of people, your tribe, you're supposed to serve them with who you are, because you have something in you that God has placed in you to give to other people. So you're a leader and a servant to these people. And based on that identity, that being, when that comes across to people, people will get you and say, yeah, that person, I like that person. They are speaking truth to me. And I'm with that person. Okay, next slide. Our actions are our habits or our understanding. Okay, the process, our character, right? So we change our programming, then we're more able to carry out, we're able to carry out those things that we need to do. Does that make sense? So who you are determines how consistent you're going to be in doing what it is that you need to do. So successful people, teams, and groups and businesses are a result of successful habits. And the habits are a result of who you are as a person. So your identity leads to the right actions. And then those actions lead to having. Okay? Those actions lead to having, which is the next thing. Now, I want to put something else on your mind. There's three things, this isn't in the slides, there's three things that we need to focus on developing. Part of what we're talking about here, number one, is mindset. How you think. Mindset. How you think, what you think about, your attitude, your outlook on things. Inside that mindset, and the next thing, skill set. Skill set. What are the things that you can actually do that you're good at that becomes a part of the third thing, your skill, your tool set. So you have a mindset, which is an attitude, a way of thinking. Skill set, your ability to understand how some things work, and then tool set. What are the tools you have to actually put things into practice? Because your mindset, skill set, and tool set is what becomes your assets. And your assets is what you need to create your income. Think about it this way. At the end of the day, all of us want to be skilled at living. That skill is called wisdom. But how do you get wisdom? Well, first, before you get wisdom, you know what you have? And everybody has this. We have some level of ignorance because we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we learn, hey, I don't know this, I need to know it. But there's some level of ignorance. So then what we need to do then is we need to get some knowledge. We need to grow in an area of collecting truth called knowledge. So we're collecting truth, collecting truth, collecting truth, collecting truth. And in this case, truth in how to make money or how to create a business that's going to make you money. So you need to have knowledge about that. Then the next thing is understanding. Understanding is, well, how exactly does that work? I know all this stuff, but see, the end result of getting knowledge is not just writing it down and getting an A on the test. We've talked about that. In school, yeah, they give you A's for writing it on the test. But in real life, they give you A's where you can actually execute and create the results that you're looking for. That's when you get the A on the test. So knowledge, you need to accumulate and assimilate truth and know some things. Then understanding, you need to understand how they work. How they work, how they work, how they work. And wisdom is your skill in applying the knowledge and understanding in real life, in real circumstances to make a difference. That's why the Bible says, in all you're getting, get understanding. You got to get knowledge, but get understanding because that leads to wisdom. And wisdom is the principal thing. So when we've collected that wisdom, then we can go apply that in the marketplace to be able to create the income we need. In today's environment, we have to, and I'm learning this, man, right along with you. We have to learn how to use technology to take what it is that God's put in us to get it to other people. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you. What are you doing right now to grow your skill base? Using technology, using an understanding of how a business is built, and really learning how to master that. But Gus, I'm XYZ years of age. Well, whatever that is, you plan on living into the future? Any number of years? If you do, on my birthday on August 5th, I'll be 65 years old. 65 years old. I plan on living at least till 90 by the grace of God. So for 25 years, I'm going to be doing something. And you know what that something's going to be? Learning and growing and developing my skills in business and creating wealth, not only for myself, but helping other people do the same thing. And learning how to master those tools. Because how many of you all out there got kids? You've heard that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Well, what's your legacy going to be? Yeah, your legacy is going to be the kids themselves. They're your living legacy. Your children, your grandchildren, that's your living legacy. But what is it that you would have instilled in them to enable them to win in their lives? Not just financially. I mean, we talked about the 7 spheres of wealth in every one of those spheres. What are you leaving them in terms of skill sets, tool sets, mindsets, wisdom? to be able to win in those areas. We're going to be talking about those things, and we're going to give you an opportunity to participate in some events to make these things very clear and to give you action plans to put them in place to change your life. Because here's what I know. At a minimum, at the very minimum, God wants you to be able to meet all your obligations. He wants you to be able to give to his kingdom. He wants you to be able to help people that are in need, and he doesn't want you in debt. At a minimum, I know he wants that. Let me ask you a question. How many people, if that was true for you, that would be a hallelujah good time? All the bills are paid, no problem, easy peasy every month. I don't owe anybody anything. So not am I just am I out of debt, but I'm positive on the net worth side to a large degree. I'm able to give to the work of God's kingdom, and I'm able to meet the needs of people. How cool would that be? Would that be all right? Man, well, I believe that is, if you're a part of God's kingdom, that's a part of your birthright. But you know what? Just like those 10 that were supposed to go into the promised land, that was their birthright. But what kept them out and from experiencing the best that God had for them? Their thought process, their thinking, their programming inside caused them not to go and experience the best that God had for them. Now, God took care of them for 40 years in the wilderness, but that wasn't God's best. Do you understand? How many of y'all out there want God's best for you? You want the best as possible given who you are, that you live up to your potential. How many people want to live up to their potential and maybe even exceed what they thought was even possible for themselves? Well, you can do that if we get to working on who we're being, what we're doing, and our actions. We keep improving our mindsets. We keep improving our skill set. We keep getting new tool sets that are relevant today, and we build assets that'll end up building a business for you. Now, we're going to be telling you about information in the coming weeks and things you can get involved in to change your life. Okay? But God won't steer a parked car. You got to get moving. So as these opportunities are made available to you, take advantage of them. Do you know how to stay poor? I'm not saying you are poor, but if you're not happy where you're at right now, that's poor. Even if you make six figures, multiple six figures, if you're not where you want to be, in a sense, you're poor. Here's how to stay poor. You ready? It's an acronym. The P in poor is called PASS. PASS. P-A-S-S. PASS. PASS. The first O is over. Pass over. Pass over. The next O is opportunities. Pass over opportunities regularly. Regularly. Today, an opportunity was made available to me, and they would only so many people could take advantage of the opportunity. And you could look at these set of facts that the person gave. You could look at the positive side and see how it would benefit you. Or you look at the negative side and see how it all not to work out. And then you're going to make a decision. Oh, that's hype. That ain't going to work. Then that's true for you. No, it will work. I believe God has that for me. If I apply myself, it's going to work. So it's up to you. Choose this day whom you're going to serve, which way you're going to go. Okay? Because we're going to put it out there in front of you and give you an opportunity to change your life. You want to change your life? Man, come go with us. Have I arrived? No way, no how. No way, no how. But here's what I know. The biggest room in my house is the same biggest room in your house. And you know what that room is? It's the room for self-improvement. It's the room for personal development, personal improvement. And as long as we keep doing that, adding to our mindset, skill set, and tool set, we're going to be able to build assets. And as you have assets, that's what you can turn into income for you and your family. Hey, you guys, have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys next Friday. Hey, subscribe to, like us on Facebook, share with other people, share this information with people. And hey, let's get down the road, okay? All right, you guys have a great day. Take care now. Bye-bye.